How are you guys doing with all the COVID stuff these days? Many of us have found ourselves in some type of acceptance at some point. For me, a few weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, I started to sense into some acceptance of COVID in my own stages of grief journey. And for a while, there was some relief there. So, stages of grief would be shock, bargaining, depression, anger, acceptance, not always in that order and not always stopping. Okay, so stages of grief are not static. It's not like, okay, I went through the anger and I'm done, check mark. They come and go in waves. And so COVID is a very extreme reminder that the grief stuff is just kind of icky and gross. So I noticed acceptance and felt some relief for a bit, like, okay, I can do this. I can wrap my head around COVID and not feeling it right now. I'm not feeling it as much as I had before. So what do we do here? We're so fatigued by COVID. We're sick of it. We're sick of talking about it. Maybe you feel ashamed or embarrassed to bring it up because you talked about it with people. But we're still having a trauma reaction here. We're in this trauma place. Our brain is still hot. We're isolated. There's so many circumstances that are taxing our bodies, are taxing our brains, our emotions, and our grief. So there's a few things that I just want to notice with you to encourage you with probably, I think, one simple strategy here and two ways of doing it. First off, trauma. I've shared this example before, but trauma, to me, a simple metaphor is when you bite your cheek. Your tongue keeps going over and checking it. So in our brain, there's this trauma channel that is full of COVID content. Okay, and it's like it's at times that TV channel gets switched on and the content is going. Now we can choose to acknowledge that content is going, or we can dissociate, ignore whatever we're doing, but it's going. So be mindful, noticing that the content is still there, that we're still triggered and uncomfortable, irritated, frustrated by COVID. And just like that channel, our brain wants to peek at it. It wants to, like our tongue checking out where we bit our cheek. So we want to slow down with ourselves again, realize that we're not done. We're not done grieving. We're not done talking. We're not done needing to be heard about COVID. You need to be heard about COVID still. Just this week, I had a conversation with somebody and we just kind of vented for a little bit. We brainstormed all the ways that we would be taking care of the COVID problem better than everybody else, right? Who's done that? It's helpful. I mean, I don't want to belittle, or I feel terrible for people in high up leadership right now because what do? However, there's something really healthy in venting out loud. Venting out loud with somebody else, even if you're kind of noticing conspiracy theory fears or frustration and anger toward people who are responding differently to the crisis, whatever you need to do, you're just like hashing it out with somebody. A weird thing happens when we open up our mouth. It's like we create more space in our body. There's a psychological shift of actually verbalizing, thinking, noticing, reading, that stuff. It's just not quite as efficient immediately as dumping. So vent with a friend, or simplest, and this is the simplest form of anger management, vent out loud by yourself. Don't vent out loud by yourself anymore. Vent out loud, get alone in the car, maybe nobody's at home, and just talk it out. You can talk about all your thoughts and feelings about COVID. Let's keep removing some of that junk. Notice that trauma channel, the COVID channel, is playing in our brain. Notice what is being played and talk it through. Out loud is what I'm suggesting. Go easy on yourselves. Our brains are hot. We're still breathing all this stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And it is okay to be frustrated, and it is beyond okay to still need to talk about COVID frustration. Take care. Bye.